First of all, I am very much proud of hosting this big conference in Japan and Sapporo. Since I was growing up with GEWEX in my career, I have a 30 years run research career, which is very close to the history of GEWEX. So I am very much pleased to do this event in Sapporo. I have been very much excited to share the precious time with international scientific colleagues, international scientists here in Sapporo, and exchange scientific discussions. And I hope this conference will be a very good opportunity to generate new communities in future GEWEX sciences.
We chose the main theme, the water and climate, for the 9th GEWEX OSC in Sapporo. The reason is related to the, for example, extreme events which often occur all over the world. So now, many areas, countries that suffer from the, for example, shortage of water, or too much water, such as flooding. So now the scientists need to share the latest knowledge to society. At the same time, the society definitely needs the knowledge from the scientific side for decision making. That's one of the biggest reasons why we chose the main theme of the 9th GEWEX OSC as water and climate.
Well, the most impressive or important point is the title. It's really about water change in a warming world. This is what we all have to be concerned with for the future, and that topic really reaches through the entire conference in all its aspects. And dealing with this, talking about this, identifying the open questions, but also the links to the societies, the stakeholders. I mean, these are really very important points.
Actually, this is the first time to invite the GEWEX conference to come to Japan. The program structure, including, yes, also another very important point is a new idea to have stakeholder sessions to communicate each other, not only science, but also for the social, including stakeholders or science interpreter, students also, of course. Number of young scientists or students are very huge. So I think it's very good for educating or stimulating them for higher science or in the future. I really appreciate the organizers. Great work to prepare this conference. Thank you very much.
The most impressive is the number of attendees. Everybody is getting together to discuss about how we can overcome the problem of water and climate. I learned a lot, and we can expand our community to exchange the information to overcome our common problems.
I really enjoy meeting all my colleagues from all over the world, all the very wide breadth of expertise which these people brought here, and also that we meet here the people also who use the science to do something useful for society with it.
I want to highlight first the impressive outpouring of support from our local hosts, that there's so many kind people who are helping us at making sure all the logistics work perfectly. So I really appreciate all the support from our local organizing committee.
First one is very well organized and planned the meeting and operation by the organizers. The people are really enjoying, including myself, this opportunity. The second one is I was much impressed by the big progress of the hydrology, especially not only the physical or chemical activity, but also the social the aspect has been deeply investigated. I learned so many things through the discussion and the presentation.
I was impressed by many aspects of this conference, but most impressive point was that high quality presentations, especially in the plenary, so that they are so much up to date, and I could learn a lot about the latest knowledge about the global energy and water exchanges. So I could learn a lot through their presentations, so I appreciate it very much. I was also impressed by that the many young scientists are very actively involved in this conference and they are networking. So I have a very optimistic future development of this academic field.
There's a large gathering of the Asian research community around water resources and energy. My intervention on Sunday in the public lecture at the university and together with the city of Sapporo was really interesting to see the activity which is ongoing in Hokkaido on adapting, mitigating climate change. And I was impressed by the presence and ingenuity of the students and college students who were present, who were really motivated to change our way of interacting with nature, to preserve the natural resources we depend so much upon.
First, I'm thinking of the truly exciting science. And second, the opportunity to talk with the real stakeholders across Japan. And the third one is our local organizers' impressive work. What I'm thinking about, when we organize the future research activities, we can do something similar, have the real conversation, engagement with stakeholders. And of course, then think in terms of from their perspective, how can we help accelerate the translation of science into decision making?
This time, in addition to that kind of the scientific discussion, we had a stakeholder session for every day for each related to the Ministry of Land Infrastructure Transportation the day before yesterday, and yesterday at the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fishery, today Ministry of Environment. I think this kind of the stakeholder session is very important to foster or enhance the implementation to the society itself, especially for the climate change adaptation itself. The scientific-based conference can now be applied more and more to the development of the society. So that is my great impression of this time's GEWEX.
I believe that this is a very timely meeting at a time when we are faced with the need to think about how society copes with the global climate change, which is rapidly changing than expected. As a space agency, our mission is to provide more accurate global observation data, so which we hope can be used to make rational decisions.
Time period of climate and global change, we really have to understand the processes so that we can understand how things are going to change in the future, because we know that the future is not going to be like the past. Weather and energy cycles are going to be different, and that's important for science, but it's also important for society, because especially if anything influences the important parts of the weather cycle, whether it's precipitation, evapotranspiration, soil moisture, groundwater, all of these things are critical to the way we live our lives and the growing population in the world that wants to have better lives in the future depends on those resources. So the scientific knowledge is critical, and we're at a wonderful time in terms of new observational capability from satellites and other vantage points, new modeling capabilities associated with computing and digital twins, as well as opportunities associated with artificial intelligence and machine learning, that the science will advance. The scientific capabilities from around the world are growing.
I myself had really enjoyed this conference. So I wake up very early in the morning to prepare for the daily activity, the conference. But it's no problem, not actually. So I'm very happy to see all of the participants, because they have very nice discussions, and for example, I'm very impressed that participants try to find a new insight for the scientific activities, and they're trying to find new directions. Also, stakeholder sides are very interested in the latest scientific activities. I found so many participants are attending across the different specialties. That's why I'm very much excited.
It's always difficult to just highlight one thing, but if I have to choose, it's always wonderful to come to a country and then have the opportunity to see so many colleagues and scientists in this field come together and have a good time, not just talking about science, but really connecting. I think that's the most important thing, and I think we really succeeded in that, thanks to also the local organization, which has been fantastic. That's a very difficult question. So we hope always to do better. To do better than this conference, that's a high bar. So we expect to do better, and even more, try to bring even more scientists together, and continue as we've done here. One aspect I really appreciate in this conference that I like to see repeated and expanded is the stakeholders sessions. I think they were very useful, and certainly that aspect we'll take along. So really a big thank you from our end to be able to be hosted here, and use it as a next stepping stone to the other GEWEX conference, the 10th one, by the way. Yeah. Great, thank you. Good.